right type of time that I come on. So for those of you who don't know me or haven't seen me, I'm Suzi Parrett. I'm a psychic medium, clairvoyant, spiritual coach, spiritual advisor, teacher of angelic realms, teacher of meditation. I'm able to remove spirit from land or property, shut portals, open portals, and just help spirit get home. So thank you for coming in and joining me today. I've been instructed as usual what to talk about. Mr. Michael does tell me what he likes me to say. Gosh, I got an itchy eye, sorry. I was talking last week about different star seeds because, there's a lot of kind of, I don't know, we talk about aliens as though there's something to be scared of. I'm not saying that there's probably some aliens, like I said last week, that aren't altogether for humanity, but there are some that are working for humanity and are of the light. And I was kind of saying to people that, you're a star seed of a sort on this earth in the here and now, and you could have derived from many other planets and incarnated lifetimes from other planetary sources, planets. Now, since last week, I've kind of had a download with Archangel Michael about myself. And what it was, I've always heard I was a Melchizedek being, and a Melchizedek is more of what we call an angel. And I hadn't thought that personally that I'd ever been an angel, or I'd incarnated, from a life from being an angel. But I have, apparently, and this is what he was sharing with me, that I actually, for myself solely, I serve like the God source, if you like, by incarnating into different planetary systems, different lives, and all that type of, where I'm coming from. But I was actually a Melchizedek at one time as well, which is so interesting because there's still Melchizedeks here on this plane as we speak. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. Zeus does this every time. I start a video and then he wants to go and eat in being stupid. So sorry if you can hear him. It's quite funny. So, us as planetary beings could have, reincarnated into many different forms of being, different star seeds. And what Michael wanted me to talk about today a little bit with people was, you don't always have to be spiritual to get this. I think a lot of souls are awakening at the moment with what's going on in the world. They feel in their own senses that there's something, more to this life than just this one life. People are, it's kind of, they're awakening and they're kind of thinking, there's got to be something else. There's more to this than, surely there's got to be more to this. And, it's like where I'm coming from, the same as Michael was telling me to say to you, it's not about God. It's not, because people, as soon as you start talking about the God source or anything like that, hi Red, people are just like, they kind of back off, and it isn't about that at all. It's, the God source or the prime creator, whatever you call it. We are here all for a purpose at this time, and we are all generally waking up. And I think this whole thing with lockdown, especially in my country, in the UK at the moment, I think people are, having time to reawaken. So this is why Michael's wanted me to talk about last week. We were talking about different, planetary beings, but people don't necessarily see themselves as an alien being, which I suppose I never have, but I must be on that border to have the gifts I have, because being that psychic medium clairvoyant, I speak to, the dead all the time. So, to some people, they're probably not normal, but the thing is, what people aren't realizing is that we do have we do, every individual has those gifts within them, the mediumistic senses. Everybody has them. It's just like I've said in the past, we forget how to use them, and we are conditioned on this plane, whether we like it or not, or whether you want to admit that or not. That's absolutely fine. That's, you know, but there is things all the time that kind of coming in and taking us away from that fact that we do have gifts within us, every single one of us. And I've worked in a male environment for years, and this is the reason why I ended up working in a male environment. Michael wanted me in that role, was to help open up men, because men are more shut down than women, especially with, you know, certain topics and things. And I was able to talk to men, obviously, for years. I was a barber for years, but I was able to open them up and make them think in a different way, and make them understand that they were actually using their gifts and their intuition daily, but they hadn't thought of it in that way. And, you know, that's why I was put in that male environment. But, you know, some men you could speak to about it, and others you couldn't, you know, or you would have to pick your battles, if you know what I mean. But what Michael wanted me to talk about, and what I want to talk about today, is about indigo children. Now, another form of starseed, but with the indigo children, they say, before I read my information on this, but they say about indigo children, they've been coming for, the last 100 years. And it's funny because people have said to me in the past, "Oh, I think you're an indigo child." I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm just me. You know, I don't have to have a label. I think that's the thing on this plane. We all have to be labelled. You know, oh, I've got ADHD or whatever it is. You know, you just know. I'm just me. But yes, so he was wanting me to kind of talk about the different star seeds as in another form of that. And indigo children, crystal children, and rainbow children are all what's been the very spiritual awakened souls that have been coming in. And indigo children have been incarnating on the earth for the last 100 years. After World War II, a significant number were born, and these are the indigo adults of today, which is quite high-hand, which, you know, yeah, like I say, if I'm an indigo, I'm an indigo. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm just me. And however, in the 1970s, a major wave of indigos were born. So we have a generation of indigos that are now in their late 20s, early 30s, who are about to take their place in the leaders of the world. Indigos continue to be born up to about 1970 to 1972 with outstanding and amazing abilities. Like I say, I was actually born in 1968, so I'm not in that cusp. But, you know, this person, this information has been saying, you know, they've been coming in for the last 100 years. So, but I have heard I was a scout. I was a scout for the indigos, which means I was sent here to test the waters, and that kind of resonates with me. Sorry, do you like my mug? Grumpy. Not that I am grumpy. Indigos that started arriving during the 1970s have distinctive warrior personalities, which probably is me. They will stand up and fight for what they think is right and what they believe in. Oh yes, that's definitely me. They also known when they are being lied to and manipulated. Yeah, sorry. That's how I know where I'm at the moment with what's going on in the world. You know, it's just total, yes, I can smell it, you know. So it's very interesting to read this. They also and will not comply with any system. Nope. That may be limiting or dysfunctional. Gosh, yes, guys, that is me. Indigos also have little or no tolerance for dishonesty. Yet, can't be doing with that. They are here to show us that the archaic, systems in schools, governments, parenting, healthcare are not healthy and must change, or we will continue to fail globally as a civilization. I mean, hi Scott, I think for me, I couldn't get on at school, and I've always struggled with that whole sense of being told what to do. I've never been good with authority. I've never been like horrible to anyone or whatever. It's just been an issue, because I think solely it doesn't, an age is a number. So you can have somebody that's 100 and whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean to say they're well wisely, because it goes down to your soul, your age of your soul. And I couldn't stand that being bossed about. Large numbers of Indigo children started arriving, like we say, in around 1992. In fact, if your child was born after 1992, there's a good chance you have an Indigo child. Remember, this isn't a bad thing. You are blessed with a star child. So feel honoured that you have been given this incredible gift. Well, I don't think if you ask my family, in all honesty, that they would think that. As I'm estranged from them all, apart from one. I just never fitted in. I mean, I used to say as a child, I've been adopted. I was, but I had to get here solely somehow. So I really respect people and love it if people get on with their families and everything. It's just I never fitted in with mine. Never mind. I had to get here somehow. Indigo children are born onto the indigo soul ray of incarnation and evolution, which means they have access to clairvoyancy and healing abilities, which is me, and have indigo blue in their auras. I don't know. This means they have access to the gifts of clairvoyancy, like I said, and healing. They are also able to access that may be termed the fourth and fifth dimensions of consciousness, while most humans have the access to only the third or fourth. That's interesting. The higher dimensional access, together with the indigo ray soul's gifts, means the indigos are naturally more intelligent, more sensitive, and more clairvoyant. I am very sensitive. Anyone who knows me personally, they think I'm too sensitive, but tough. I am who I am. They also create and often able to access the left and right side of the brains, making it easier for them artistically, technology, competent, and and adventurous. Their gifts also include being a psychic. Yay! So maybe I am an indigo, like I say, I never really thought about it. Remember that your indigo child has chosen you for a parent or parents. It may be a difficult task, but you have important roles. In turn, your star child has undertaken the task of raising your vibration to a higher vibrational level. Well, I did try. I did try, guys. The indigo children are passionate in their beliefs, whatever it may be. It can be often overwhelming for them. These children want to know the truth and want to speak the truth down to the patterns of traditional thinking. The indigos have specific purpose. Their purpose is to seek out the truth and change it, this archaic system of thought on old energy grids. Well, we're not doing so great at the minute, are we, us indigo kids? Because what we're going through, but never mind. Michael just says, the light always wins, and you have to allow for that to play out in divine timing. So I'm like, yeah, okay. They are creating a path and unveiling lies. Well, don't listen to anything the government say, all right? And secrecy to help crystal children who will see the world from a elevated platform of spirituality and high evolved viewpoint, and complete with an unconditional love. The crystal children then make the path for the rainbow children, who will help instruct us how to live in love and abundance in the ages to come. So, we are here for a reason, and that's something where I was coming in from last week, is that, you know, you come down on this plane and you get so sucked into life because you're on that hamster wheel of life. You know, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to, you know, you're a parent, so you have to look after your children and pay for them, and the house, and, you know, and you get on that hamster wheel of life and everything's like you're busy, but you don't get that time, you know, to kind of really think outside the box, you know. And on this plane, everything's labeled, you know what I mean? And for me, I was told I was dyspraxic, I was dyslexic. No, actually, I'm from a different star. I'm a star seed. I'm from a different planet. I don't really understand English. And why do I have to fit in a box? You know, I'm me, and this is what gets me living on this plane. That everyone has to fit in a box. You know, you're depressive. You're this. You're that. You're the next thing. Look, if you're not having a good time in life, well, you know, you're not having a good time. But you don't have to label people. And I think, you know, all these influences take you away from who you are inside, because you've got to, like I say, you're on that hamster wheel. So it kind of takes away from who you are solely, and probably the reason of why you're actually here on Earth, you know. And I think, although people, obviously, lockdown is not great, but for many people, I think it's given them that chance to think outside the box. If they've, you know, been able solely to use the time wisely. I mean, you know, I've got to say that some people, you know, it's affected people in so many different ways. You know, this whole scenario that we are going through. So, you know, I think it's a personal thing how you deal with this, with what we are going through. But, you know, just know as souls that, you know, collectively, with the right way of thinking, we can get through this. The light always wins. And, you know, with the divine timing thing, as I always say, you don't always see what's going on in the background, you know, but know that the beautiful angels and the God source that, you know what's going on. So an indigo child or indigo kid is an upgraded blueprint of humanity, a term that comes up when addressing the colours of these very different kids. Previously, auric fields were expected shadows of the rainbow, but the indigo field was dominated by the royal blue colour, which is one of my favourite colours, actually, thus establishing a change in course of human evolution and their ego aura. Gifted children on a clear mission to challenge, shift reality. Like we said, they started coming in the 70s, but I don't believe that so much, because, you know, I have every trait of an indigo, and I came in 68. So that might vary a bit. Beyond sight and bringing in their beyond psychic awareness, they're highly driven, creative, with a perception that sees through the establishment forms of society. Oh yes. However, you know, that might be, because it can be very difficult if, you know, people are shut down and you're a friend or they're in your family. Old souls, indeed, their mission is clearly to lay out and shake up the modern world and pave the way for future generations to create greater peace and harmony for all. Yes. Both of the generations of children are well into their teens and adulthood, so don't allow the label to dissuade you from exploring the concepts of being an indigo child. So I've looked up actually what the traits are, and I found the best kind of informative, you know, written on it of what the best, you know, the traits are. Because the thing is, when you're talking to people, you don't need you know, like, it gets a bit confusing. So these are some of the traits, but just in layman's terms is what Michael's saying. You feel spiritually awakened. You were born to be a light worker. You have felt from a young age that you're tapped into something spiritually greater than most people. Yes, I definitely did, because I was seeing spirit from, well, I've always seen spirit, since I can remember. So you are, number 2, you are confident and even arrogant at times, probably with alcohol. I hope everyone doesn't think I'm arrogant. And embodied by something larger than you can name. That's so true. You know that you were put on this planet for a reason, and that reason is to enact positive change. You know that those who are negative to this planet are growing and ascending, and to help in their transformation. That's so true. Number 3, you have high expectations of yourself and others. Maybe this can make a challenging relationships and interactions. You only see the best and expect others to live up to it. Towards yourself, you can be unrelentlessly self-critical. Don't let this get the better of you, because instead use it to your advantage to push others, yourself and others. But also know that others may not be as motivated. And before, indigos see the world differently, coupled with innate self-assurance. You often think your way is right and are offended if others don't see, much less take action from your point of view. If indigos ruled the world, you are confident no problems would exist. Well, no, because we constantly come from love, and there wouldn't be any problems. There's a lot of ego on the planet right now, and that's what gets us into quite a lot of trouble. Is the ego of these beings, planetary beings, and these people. So number 5, you are not one to negotiate. So certain in your views and ways, you're often rebellious and a skeptic of those in power. Sorry. But when you know when you're being lied to. This is the occasionally gets you in trouble. Yes. So you know how to get into the good and noble types of trouble. Well, it is, but I try not to put my views on people. You either get me or you don't, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to, put my views on you. That's not who I am, because I'm no better than the powers that be otherwise, because, I'd be as egoed as them. Number 6, difficult to regrid systems seem foolish to you. Sorry, difficult and rigid systems seem foolish to you. You often become, antagonistic, to what others experience normal. These systems may also seem inadequate compared to those you know and believe are much more effective. You have patience and know that these massive systems will need changing, are like great ships that can't always turn on a dime. Have patience and know that these massive systems that need changing are like great ships and can't always turn on a dime. I had to read that twice. It wasn't making sense in my mind. So, number 7, you're creative, musically, artistically gifted. Your art invites others to see the world around through your eyes, nurturing this ability. Number 8, you are a change maker. You're so aware of the failings of society, which in turn makes you a magnificent leader. You're always finding new and better methods of business, society, and ways of existing with the chaos of society that is growing and evolving. Well, that's yeah. You're a lost soul. No, I can't say I've ever felt lost. Not when the angels are around. You feel out of place, yeah. With others, as you recognise you're different from most people, you tend towards being a loner, afraid so, or a rebel, unwilling to compromise just to fit in. Definitely true. Number 10, you are headstrong. Wow, yeah, I would say I'm pretty headstrong. As indigos, their soul's mission is encoded in their very being. You know your self-worth. You are willing to You are unwilling to back down from confronting what feels out of integrity. That is so true as well. Number 12, without any need for development, your psychic capacity, clairvoyancy, empath, and telepathy is finely tuned. Sure is. Well, you see nothing special in your abilities. No, I don't, because we all have it, remember, guys. It gives you an advantage in reading others with ease. Oh, yes. And seeing through masks. Oh, yes. You are frustrated. That's probably very true. I do get a bit frustrated, for sure. Just try and push it away, though, because it's low vibrational. Number 13, coupled with the bigger picture vision, the restless soul drives for change. You become easily frustrated with society and others who are not shifting quickly enough, but then that's their free will. So personally, that doesn't affect me. Patience is something that should be developed. Yeah, for me, patience is something, yes, I don't really possess. Not everyone born in this generation carries this new blueprint. It's early. The early few were known as scouts. Told ya, and I haven't read this, testing out the climate to see if more souls could be ushered in. You see, that's where I am. I think I was always told I was a scout, or I have been told I'm a scout. Nor should we assume being an indigo is something to be idealized. Far from it. Beyond the responsibility of their distinction will carry. Such a distinction will carry. We have also witnessed the drive of the indigos by being paralyzing at times. Shifting purpose. Indigo children are destined to make changes, to challenge society, to be loud in what they see and the flaws in the system. This is the mission to complete. They have a shift. They have to shift a life's purpose quite drastically. Those who are thrown out of their path early, that it is to say they push for progress that is forgotten, for turned in on themselves. I don't get that. It doesn't really make sense, but never mind. Indigos, then it says ADHD, and this is the thing. This is what I was saying earlier. What I find quite fascinating about, for me, being labelled at such an early age, or this, or that, and the next thing. And it says indigos are often treated for attention deficit disorder, which is me, because I can't concentrate very long on things. I get very bored. It's just the way it is. And yep, and also can be prescribed drugs to calm them. In reality, indigos are dealing with the pressure of being trapped in these earthly bodies, with the added pressure of helping humanity in some greater capacity. Yeah, I mean, like I say, as a child, I was very, very much labelled on, what I was, what I wasn't. And that never resonated with me. It never sat with me. Because I always say, I'm just me. If someone, I'm just me. If I'm not going to make excuses for the person I am, the soul I am, in seeing spirit. And, from a very young age, as a child, I thought there was something very odd with me. I didn't understand, when you're talking about 4 or 5 and you're seeing spirit, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, and the rest of your family couldn't see them, and I was totally bamboozled by that. Why couldn't my family see what I was seeing? Just the way it was. But I didn't speak about my spiritual side of my life for many, many years because of it. But it, everything does happen for a reason, and it kind of made me grow as a soul. It made me not be scared of anything. I've seen some weird stuff in life, stuff that people would be shocked at, and stuff that it would scare people. I'm not that because I've had this from I was a tiny little thing. I just don't get scared by what I see and what comes to me. I mean, some people be absolutely terrified. They think, oh my God, it's like, what the heck? I'm in a horror movie. These things exist, and I just, whatever, take it on the shoulder, just, whatever. Let's sort this thing out and get it on its way, But I think where Michael's coming in with this, and he was last week, is just trying to get us to understand that we're all amazing. Every single one of us solely on this earth has an amazing gift within them, and that's where he comes in on, we're all amazing, but collectively, even if we're just thinking positively right now, that's how uplifting the earth's vibration, and that's where he's coming in on. So even if you're just holding the light, you're not a very spiritual person, and you're not a healer or a psychic or something, but just to hold the light and to have positive thoughts, and collectively that all can come together, and it works for the divine light. It all helps lift the vibration on earth, and that's where he's kind of coming in on with that. The fact that, if we're all just holding the light, we're all just being happy and lifting the vibration, that can help the earth as a collective. And that's where he's coming in, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm not a healer, I don't have gifts or whatever. But no, just thinking positive thoughts and wishing for a greater outcome for our earth is an amazing thing to do. That is all part of holding the light. So I'm going to finish there with that. I am going to pull a card for the week. Nobody's much on, which is absolutely fine, but I am going to pull a card for this next week for everyone. And thank you, darling people that did come on and see me. But I just thought that was very interesting about indigos. It's, like I say, something else for people to think about, something else to understand. And at the moment, I think all of us, probably could do with a bit of that, because I think more and more people are thinking outside the box. So, like I say, I've got my Angel Answer cards by Radley and Doreen. These are lovely, these decks. So I'm just going to pull a card for the week. That's quite interesting. Ooh, okay. There's someone out here that I feel, there's somebody that's going to see the either watching it or going to see the recording of this, and somebody needs to take action. I feel they're holding back on a project. It feels like they haven't got the confidence to move forward with. They're holding back. They're not having the confidence to step forward, step into their divine power, and it feels like it's a venture, like a business venture, or it feels like a business venture, but it feels like they're holding back on it. It's a confidence thing, I'm thinking, but I'm hearing take action. Now is the time to move forward with it. It feels like there's been a lot of umming and ahhing about this situation for you. So going forward, just step outside your comfort zone, I'm hearing, And the funny enough, that the other card that I pulled for this person, somebody's going to get this on watching it, because it feels for one person and not a collective thing. I just go with the guidance, but the card's trust. So it kind of comes on the back of, you've having that confidence to step forward, but having the trust to know it's going to be okay and that it's going to succeed. It feels like, I feel you're quite blindsided about like which direction to go in, but I feel like call on the angels, ask them for guidance. Shamuel is a great one for giving you confidence, and Archangel Gabriel is really good for new beginnings, careers, but so is Shamuel. Shamuel, if you want to Archangel Samuel, if you want a new career, can help you also with that. And there's no harm in calling them in together, you know, because the angels will come and assist you. But it's to have the trust to step out of your comfort zone at these times and go for it, is what I'm hearing. Well, I'm just going to now pull one card, I think, for what we're going to do going forward for us. And then I'll, I don't know where time goes. That's 35 minutes already. Zeus is now slurping in again. I love these cards. They're the Magical Unicorn deck by Doreen Virtue. And I have Listen to Your True Feelings. And it says, don't let others talk you into doing something that you know is wrong. That's really weird at the moment, because I kind of feel it's coming back in on this COVID vaccination thing. You know, if there's people out there that don't want it, it's your free will, and don't feel pressured. That's what I'm hearing. This is what this is about. Don't feel pressured into having something just because somebody is saying. This is your human rights. If you don't want it, you know, you shouldn't have to have it, and you shouldn't feel pressured by that, I'm hearing. And this is where it's coming in. You know, listen to your true feelings solely about how this makes you feel. And if it's a no-no, then, you know, don't feel pressured by others. I'm hearing to have it, because it's your soul that is, you know, letting you know how it feels. So you should be listening to your inner feelings. And you know, your instincts about how that feels for you, you know. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that, without getting political. Because Michael always says don't get political. Well, guys, think I've done my thing today. I hope everybody's enjoyed my my talk on the Indigo Children traits. I kind of found out that I'm a bit more of one than I thought, but hey ho. Well, thanks guys for joining me.